Hello everyone, in the previous section on geometric design of modern roundabouts, we discussed the entry approaches design of single lane roundabouts located in low speed urban areas. We discussed the lengths and widths of the explorer islands, also how to develop the explorer islands, and the entry radius, the entry width, and some details to round the corners of the explorer island. In this video, we will start discussing entry approaches design of single lane roundabouts located in low speed rural or suburban areas. Normally we're approaching a speed is less than 45 miles per hour. But what approaching a speed means for here is where engineering judgment comes in, and some standards refer to posted speed or design speed as approaching a speed. If there is a considerable difference between the 85th percentile speed and the posted speed, then you may want to consider 85th percentile speed as the approaching speed. Alright, we're still at the second module, geometric design of modern roundabouts, introducing geometric elements, and the references haven't changed any except for this one. We added the roundabout design guide, Georgia Department of Transportation, and so let's get started. If you recall from the last video, the aim of entry approaches design was to determine the entry radius, entry width, and length and cross-section of explorer island. So the geometric entry approaches combined with the location and size of the central island and also the exit radii all together form geometry for the roundabout, so it's able to make the drivers aware of the changes ahead in a distance in advance of the yield line, so they start decelerating and reduce their speeds, and also control the speed at the point of entering, so it's consistent with the speed around the central island and also at the exit point, to avoid, for example, single vehicle crashes like this semi-trailer rolls over or this car get out of control passing through the roundabout. Alright, let's start off with the explorer island. Some standards like Georgia recommend a minimum length of 200 feet for speeds above 45 miles per hour, which is not actually the case we're dealing with in this video, and 100 feet for speeds between 35 miles per hour to 45 miles per hour. It also says that the 50 feet is acceptable for speeds below 35 miles per hour. From NCHRP Report 672 or Federal Highway Administration, since the explorer island is considered as a cross-section treatment to make the driver slow down in advance of the yield line, the minimum length for explorer island is recommended to be at least equal to the required length for drivers to decelerate in a comfortable rate from approaching a speed to a stop at yield line or crosswalk. In this case, you will be needing speed counters, and here are the speed counters from Ashto Green Book 7th edition, figure 2-34. For example, for an approaching speed of 45 miles per hour, you will need an explorer island as long as at least around 300 feet. Now that we know about the lengths, let's see how to develop the explorer island. Well, first you need to develop this taper, and since the approaching speed is around 45 miles per hour, you may want to use this equation to determine the length of the taper, where the S is approaching speed and W is the shifted width. Here from the center line of the approaching roadway to this point, it's W, and it's recommended to be as wide as at least the width of the approaching lane, so it imposes enough deflection to the driver pass and make him aware of the changes ahead. Now you need an offset to the right like this one based on the width of the approaching lane, and from this point you draw this line to get enough deflection on the left side of the entry, so it blocks the straight path through the roundabout. You may want to rotate this line around 1 to 3 degrees towards the center island related to the direction of the center line. Now that you got the right side of the entry, it's time to develop the entry radius. Well, some standards recommend to start with an entry radius equals half of the ICD. We discussed the ICD in some previous video, and a range of 65 feet to 100 feet is a good one to start with for entry radius, although you'll need to verify the selected value through performance check of the roundabout and also checking the entry angle of the approach. It's also recommended to narrow the shoulder at least 100 feet in advance of the yield line. So to develop the entry radius, you need an offset from this line to the right equals almost 2 feet, and then develop the curve with the selected value from this range to the tangential to the ICD. I mean this curve here, and you extend the curve beyond the point it intersects with the right edge of the shoulder. All right, here you're done with the right side of the entry approach. Let's see how to develop the left side of the entry approach. Here first you need the width of entry approach, which you can get from this table here, table 3-27 from Ashdown Green Book 7th edition. For the tangent portion of the entry, case 2 is appropriate, and based on your traffic condition, you normally get a value between 17 to 20 feet for the tangent portion of the approach, and for entry widths you will need to refer to case 1, and based on your traffic condition and your entry radius we just discussed a couple of minutes ago, you normally get a value between 16 to 20 feet plus 2 feet that accounts for the lateral clearance between the edge of travel way and the face of the curve. All right, having these widths for this point here and here, you can get this line, and now you need a taper to connect these two points. You may want to use the same equation we just referred to a couple of minutes ago for calculating the length of the taper based on these speeds here. Although half of it is also accepted, but you may want to use larger lengths for this taper if you're concerned with the appearance of your spoiler island. All right, you develop this taper here based on these widths, and now all you need to do is to develop the left side of the entry curve. To do this, all you need to do is to develop a curve tangential to this line and the edge of the apron with an R value almost 20 feet larger than the entry radius. All right, here is your entry approach, and remember that the same treatment for approaching nodes in conventional intersections. Also goes for this one here, and it's important to place the approaching nodes on the left side of the center line of the approaching roadway, and normally radius of 1 feet to 3 feet will be needed to round the end of Explorer Island, so there will be enough room for signing, and a lateral clearance at least equals 3 to 4 feet will be needed for the approach nodes of the Explorer Island. Alright, it's done. In the next video we will go about the entry approaches design of single lane roundabouts in high speed environments. Thanks for watching and giving part of your daytime. Hoping it was helpful. I say goodbye for now.